Can I check for malware before downloading something? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. This is just one of many questions I get over the course of the last 20 years of doing this. One of the ways to stay on top of the latest tips and tricks and answers that I'm continually providing is to sign up for my weekly Confident Computing newsletter. askleo.com/newsletter for more. Here's the question. I'd like to prevent viruses from ever reaching my machine. Can I test them before they're downloaded? And if so, how? The short answer here is no, you can't. In order for you to be able to scan something for maliciousness, it needs to be on your machine. I'll talk about some exceptions that people claim to have found, but the bottom line really is that it needs to be on your machine. What that means is that the onus is on you to basically be skeptical, be safe. Download only from sites that you trust. Download or save. Never run or open until after you've done a scan. You do have the opportunity to scan for malware, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, immediately after having downloaded something. After you've scanned it for malware, then and only then would you consider running it or opening it. And then if you're at all concerned, run an anti-malware scan on your system after you've run whatever this download happened to be. So let's have a quick look at Windows 11 and I'll show you exactly what I mean, what the options are. Here in my downloads folder, I have a file. I downloaded it some time ago. Doesn't matter what it is. In fact, let's say we don't know what it is. It's a setup of some sort. Always a good thing to run setups through your anti-malware tool. If you're running the recommended Windows security, all you really need to do is right-click on it. In this case, for Windows 11, show more options, and then scan with Microsoft Defender. And you can see scan lasted 1 second, one file scanned. And of course, there's nothing to report here, right? This was not a malicious file, but that's really all that it takes. That's honestly the best you can do. Make sure to download the file. Don't automatically run it and open it until after you've done this. Then, after you've done this scan, sure, double click on it if you like, run the program, open the document, do whatever it is you think is appropriate for that. Again, still with a healthy dose of skepticism, an anti-malware scan does not guarantee that there aren't other things possibly going on in there, but at least you've got the majority of things. You know that there's really no known malicious software associated with that particular file. If you're at all concerned, say we run it and we set it up and maybe it ended up doing some downloading or something that, I don't know, you just didn't feel good about. Absolutely. Come back to your anti-malware tool and either do a quick scan, which scans the common places, basically Windows itself, the registry, the downloads, maybe your documents, or do a full scan. Scan the entire disk. This is actually a pretty reasonable time to do a full scan if you don't do one regularly anyway, just because, you're here, you've got it open, it's an opportunity to actually click the full scan button and do the full scan. Either way, when in doubt, if you're at all uncertain before and or after you've downloaded and run something, sure, run another scan. Now, I mentioned that I got a lot of pushback on prior versions of this article and video that there are solutions out there that claim to scan your download before you download it. Honestly, I looked, and the case that I've found, no. Even the wording implies that what it's doing is it's downloading and then scanning. At best, anti-malware tools may scan while things are being downloaded, but it is still being downloaded. Now, that's not to say that these are bad tools, that they're not doing something useful, but please be very skeptical when it comes to believing that they're actually scanning something before it reaches your machine. In most cases, they are not. Now, I do want to put in a plug, if you will, for sandboxes and virtual machines. actually running a sandbox and setting up a virtual machine is not necessarily something that I'm going to cover in this video. But if you already have the technology, if you already have the ability to run something in a sandbox or run something in a virtual machine, that actually is the ultimate in safety. I run virtual machines all the time. And in fact, the Windows 11 that we were just looking at is in fact a virtual machine on a much bigger machine that has a lot more software installed. The bottom line, though, is that if I've got something that I'm really, really suspicious of, that I'm very, very concerned about might be malicious, I don't download it to my primary machine. I download it to a virtual machine. The virtual machine, if it gets blown up, if it gets infected, great, I can delete it and start over. It's not that big a deal. My primary machine, completely different story. So that's another layer of protection if you want to go down that path. For comments, for updates, for related links and more, visit askleo.com/2467. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.